This could be one of the most important adventure bikes launched in India for a long time. It's the TVS RTX 300. You're going to have to come in closer because there's people walking around the frame. Very interesting thing. Starting with the price, it starts at an introductory price of 1.99 lakh ex-showroom. And for that, you get a liquid-cooled engine that makes 36 horsepower, a very substantial-looking motorcycle, lots of features in there. But we'll start with the way it looks. Now, this is the first time we're getting to see the RTX 310 in person, and it has a real sense of substance to it in that it's a large looking motorcycle. Not a huge thing, but it really has a substantial presence. And a lot of that is because of how this bodywork here flows into the fuel tank in one sort of clean motion. You've got dual LED headlamps up front. Let me show you what that's like. TVS does some really powerful LED headlamps of late. And this one even has some neat detailing in there. They say it's really powerful. We're going to be riding the bike tomorrow, and our reviews are embargoed till Sunday, so keep an eye out for that. Also up front, you have a windscreen out here, looks quite tall, and there's some interesting stuff going on with the ducting. The company says that they've got a patented design on this whole ducting system, which is meant to keep hot air away from the rider. If you look at it from here, you can see there's a grill out there and some ducting out there. Now, over to the side, this looks fairly substantial, but it is just a 12.5 litre fuel tank. But it's not a very big engine, so it should be reasonably fuel efficient. You also have nice, spacious looking seats. I am a little over 6 feet tall. And yeah, that is good space here. Lots of room, spacious seat. Pillion seat also seems to be quite substantial. And there's a nice big grab handle at the back. Back to the design of the motorcycle. At the rear end, you have a little bit of bodywork out here to give it some detailing. It's a steel trellis frame and a steel trellis subframe with a die-cast aluminum swing arm. Fully at the back, like adventure bikes, it's not that detailed, but this does remind me of the Triumph Tiger 900. But when you look at it up close, the shape of this fender, the shape of the light, again, it's different. Similar vibe though. And then there's this really big rack, which you could put a nice big bag on, or lots of options there. Another thing I like about the design, before we move on, is how they've executed the exhaust. It is an upswept exhaust with dual exhaust port outlets out there. And it really goes with the adventure look of the bike, as do these chunky tires. These are purpose-built Eurogrip tires for this motorcycle. 110 section front, 150 rear. It's a 19-inch front and a 17-inch rear. Now, since we were talking about the exhaust, let's see what this new engine sounds like. So I'm not supposed to give you opinions right now. That's for Sunday, but that is what the exhaust sounds like. Now, let's move on to the new talking point here is this engine. They debuted it last year at the Motorsoul Festival. It's a new 300cc engine, nothing related to the BMW 310, but very similar power figures to that engine. It's 36 horsepower, 28 Newton meters, and they promise a very linear performance. So they say it's catered to what an adventure bike should be, with a heavy crank, so good low-speed inertia, good throttle. Speaking of which, it's ride-by-wire. So that is something that we'll get to see. It's also a 6-speed gearbox with a bi-directional quick shifter if you go for that variant. Onto the chassis. This is, like I said, steel trellis frame with upside-down fork. If you go for the BTO version, you'll even get adjustable damping in the front and at the rear. And it is 180 mm of suspension travel at both ends. Not the highest in the 250 to 300cc segment, but it's up there. It's not like a road bike either. You've also got 200 mm of ground clearance. Now, let's come over here and look at the switchgear and the display. The TFT comes off the 310s. It looks very similar, but there are new features in here. I can't show them to you right now, but there's apparently screen mirroring, which allows you to broadcast Google Maps to it. Whether the company allows you to do that with turning your phone screen off, or whether it's going to have to be on like on the Himalayan, we're going to have to find out. You also have cruise control if you go for one of the higher variants. I'm being told cruise control is standard. We'll confirm that with a little graphic at the bottom. And also, while we're talking about cruise control, there are other features like traction control, which is adjustable on 2 different levels. There's the bi-directional quick shifter. There's ABS that also changes the riding modes, and there are 4 riding modes in total. But before we end, there's also the accessories to talk about, and TVS has taken a very thoughtful approach here as well. Now, there's different sort of accessories. You get things that are from a protection and convenience standpoint, like these hand guards, which have an aluminum backing out here. rather solid feeling crash guards, metal bash plate. And then you have the touring accessories, which include different sort of luggage, including these hard side panniers, a hard top case. And they've collaborated with a good company for it. This is Jivi. It's a very reputed company. The same thing goes for the apparel. They've tied up with Alpine Stars for a range of apparel. So there's a lot of interesting things going with this motorcycle. And they also say that they will have training academies for their adventure riders. So it's a rather holistic approach. That in a nutshell is what the RTX is about. It seems to be a very sensibly equipped motorcycle in that there's not too many features on it. It's not like the RTR 310, but it does have quite a lot of stuff going for it that is great in the context of an adventure motorcycle. How is it actually to ride? We'll only be able to tell you later, but for now, TVS has made a fantastic first impression because at 1.99 lakh ex-showroom for this kind of a motorcycle, it's as affordable as a V-Strom 250. It's 40,000 rupees less than a KTM 250 Adventure. And that is really going to attract people's attention. So that's what I have to share about the TVS RTX 300 for now. Look out for a full review. I'm really keen to see what this bike is like to ride.